Welcome back to the Iron Oak non-sawmill today. Unfortunately, it's raining here again. Sleet actually this morning, and now just raining all day long. So there's other things we do around here. And maybe I'll put a little video together here and show you what I was working on previously to keep me busy during either the cold or the rain or the snow that we were having. Right now the mill's still packed up from our last milling job. Just have not had a chance to get it back out, and truthfully we don't have much to mill right now. We've got one crotch maple out front. The other big burls we have here are going to be done by another sawmill service because they're so wide, and I want full width live edge slabs out of those because they're going to look awesome. Just want to get these burl pieces milled up, processed up into bowl blanks, and get them covered with some anchor seal, keep them from cracking. But that's about all I've got to mill other than that one maple crotch. And I still have the big maple burl trunk butt log out front as well. But that's about all I got to mill right now. I was out pricing some cherry and ash logs. I've got some cherry and oak logs to price tomorrow. Haven't heard back from the first customer, the first log seller. I guess I'll hopefully get these ones tomorrow if they're any good. They looked okay on the pictures, but never know until you get there in person. And always working with my tree service buddies to bring home more logs. But in the meantime, there's other things we work on here at the Iron Oak Sawmill. Doesn't look much like a sawmill, does it? Well, don't always have time to run the sawmill. Other things around here have to get done. This is a snowblower we got. Used snowblower, very large snowblower. It's a 38-inch, 13 horse, which will come in great for clearing off the mill, clearing the driveway, walking paths around the backyard, and you name it. It's going to come in handy, but wasn't running right. Carburetor's clogged up for one because it's sat. Carburetor's gummed up. Cleaned it out, got it running, but when I started it, it took off. And revving to the moon. And after some investigation, found out, okay, here's the motor here. Have that out. I'm sorry, engine. I've been told about this. It's an engine. Motors are electric, engines are gas. Or diesel. But this was the front of the motor. Engine. Where the pulleys were mounted. The drive pulleys for the impeller and the drive unit for the drive wheels. Anyway, underneath that cover is a governor that controls the RPMs of the motor based on load. I thought the governor went, it flew apart, there's nothing governing the engine, it's allowing it to run away. The governor's still here. It does not appear damaged, although I am going to replace it, because at some point this thing over-revved. Didn't hurt any of the valves. Valves are all good. Check them out. Cam's good. There's hardly any marks. There's little to no hours on this machine. This is great. But right here is a wear mark inside the engine case, and that is where the governor sits. So it got shoved all the way over against there somehow. And when these things open up, and they actually raise up when they open up, and actually no, the center does. Something happened to shove this all the way over into the case on the inside and damaged it. So I think what happened was the governor rod is out of adjustment. This here, this needs to come further this way. It allowed the governor to go too far that way, opening the engine up wide open. Anyway, this is some of the other stuff I'm working on this, instead of running the sawmill. I've got the engine apart. These are super easy in comparison to the motorcycle, dirt bike, quad engines I used to tear down and rebuild from the transmission up. When you open these up, camshaft, crankshaft, governor rod, that's it. In the ones I used to take apart, they had primary and secondary shafts for the transmission and all the gears and the shift forks and you name it. If you know anything about those engines, you know that they're a little bit more involved than these are. But anyway, let me see if I can set this up. Hold on one second. Okay, if you have the motor sitting up, see the carb here, and this throttle linkage, although the throttle is turned all the way down, this is your throttle adjustment. That turned all the way down, the throttle is still wide open, although there's less spring tension on it. This should be here, not here. So that would explain why this is happening, why it's revving out. Somebody, somewhere along the line, loosened this nut bolt combination here and brought this arm that way, put tension on it that way. So this is out of adjustment. The governor is out of adjustment. It should be back here when it's just sitting here or idling. So that has to be taken care of. That's got to be readjusted. I'm looking up how to handle that, which is what I did see. It's not very difficult. On the one of the engine covers here, bolted in to this bracket that's part of the muffler, the bolts broke off. So that's going to get, they're just self-tappers. So I'm going to have to flatten them out, center punch them, drill them out, and then go ahead and run some others in there and get some threads back in there. Probably when I go to drill them, I have some left-handed drills, for my easy out set. I'll try left-handed drills in there and see if I can pop them out that way. Sometimes when you're running those left-handed drills in, it grabs a hold of them, all of a sudden screw it back out. I kind of doubt it. These are pretty crusted in there. So I'm going to hit them with some PB Blaster, which is my favorite for loosening up rusted bolts. Recoil side, didn't even bother taking that off. That's fine. It's got a recoil starter and the electric backup that you plug in. Very simple to work on. I've got a list of parts, including a new carburetor, because yes, I cleaned this out, but it's still damaged from ethanol. If you can get away from ethanol fuel, guys, do it. Ethanol fuel is destroying every engine I've ever opened up, unless it's an old engine. This was built in 04. The machine was sold in 06 originally. Older engines, the aluminum in the carburetors and stuff seem to be able to handle it, although it still dries out seals, fuel lines, primer lines, everything that fuel comes in contact with. Ethanol fuel just eats it. So I found a place not too far from me, although it's inconvenient to go there. It's really convenient because it's non-ethanol. Non-ethanol free. It is 100% non-ethanol fuel. That's what I run in my sawmill. That's what I run in my chainsaws, because I've gone through carburetors in those. All of my steel equipment, the trimmer, hedge trimmers, weed whacker, what else is over there? All the chainsaws, things like that. Those all get non-ethanol fuel because I'm tired of replacing carburetors. It just dissolves the aluminum away, corrodes it, dissolves it. You get a gray sludge in the carburetor, everything gets crusted up, and it's done. You still have to put a stabilizer in for storage, longer term storage. I put stabilizer in every time I get the fuel anyway, so it doesn't matter. Same with my diesels. They get a diesel treatment. So right now I'm waiting for parts. Pull this old carb off. I'm going to hold on to it though. Hold on to that carb just in case. Wouldn't mind trying and run it with the old carb. If I can run it with the old carb, I'll take the new one back. But why bother? Ethanol's been in there. I know it's corroded it, so all it's going to do is cause a continuous issue. So might as well just dump it. What else? That's about it. New belts. They're going to go on there for the drive and for the impeller. Of course, new gaskets where needed. I did get the pulleys. It's a two-piece pulley on this. Odd. This is for the drive, for the power-driven wheels. It's a two-piece pulley. It doesn't expand like you would in, say, like the snowmobile transmission. It's still just, when it's on there, it's bolted in behind this one. This one here varies based on load. It's got the springs in it, and it'll vary based on load. This one, you can see the face, or the inside of this has got indents here, raised areas on that one. They lock together, which ties the two halves together. But they were a little tough getting off the shaft. A little bit of PB Blaster or bearing puller or pulley, bearing puller or a puller, three-prong puller, but I couldn't get all three on there, so I went with a two, and got them all for there. But faces are a little corroded, not too bad, but they were just tough getting back on there. I figured, you know what, a couple bucks each. I think they're like $9 each for each half. Just get new ones. So a little bit of dirty, greasy, oily stuff. Here's a Briggs & Stratton 13-horse motor. I'm not a fan of Briggs motors, but hey, it's what's on here. I'll make it work. But either someone's slopping oil or it had a slight oil leak in it, but it won't once this case cover's back on there with the new gasket. Everything else seems to be functioning. It's got this thing's got all the bells and whistles. It's got hand warmers. The chute is all power, rotate on the chute. Directional on the chute is not. That's a manual pull here on this lever. But like I said, 38-inch cut, 13 horse, a little underpowered for a 38-inch cut, so I'll have to take a half a cut. The only tough one will be the first one I take with it. Everything after that will be half a cut. But I haven't even used it yet. So, and we've had it snow. Our snow was a heavy, wet snow. It probably wouldn't have worked well in that one, but who knows. We had about 8 inches, 8, 9 inches of snow. So, like I said, everything else looks solid on it. The motor, engine. See if I hear about that in the comment section. The engine has to be revamped here, get it cleaned up, get it running is the biggest thing. Get it cleaned up and get it back on the machine. Everything else is intact, just the governor, carburetor, associated gaskets and seals, and we'll be back in business. Like I said, everything else, there's not even a mark in the cylinders at all. The cylinder walls are clean, piston rings are clean. I'm going to do a valve adjustment since, I mean, even doesn't have many hours on it. It's got enough probably break-in hours, and I can do the valve adjustment. That's under here, this cover here, which I took a look at. I had to get under there when I was, actually, hang on one second. Initially, when I took this cover off of here, this is the cam. The cam fell out, and the 2 push rods fell down, and there are 2... I don't know if you want to call them tappets or whatever that actually ride on the cam. They look like valves on this end. That's what I thought fell out at first, was valves. I'm like, valves aren't at this end. They're at the other end up at the top of the head. They fell out. So I had to take this cover off to get the rods back, the push rods back into the rocker arms up in the top. So I compromised that gasket. Although it looked fine, it'd probably be fine. I just ordered a new one. I'll do the valve adjustment. Timing is set. See the timing marks on the cam here and on the main shaft of the crank. Line up those marks. Top dead center on the piston, and set up the timing marks with the ones on the cam. You're good to go. Timing is set. Don't forget that. Don't screw it up. Don't be 90 degrees off. Make sure you're top dead center on the compression stroke, and that would be that's proper timing then. But we'll get it back together, get it running. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. Did a little troubleshooting online. There's lots of Facebook pages and YouTube videos on these motors. Like I said, I've torn into motorcycle, dirt bike, quad engines, street bike engines, and been able to redo those. This one with the governor, never worked with anything with a governor, so I had to ask some questions on that. Why not stop wasting time, go to the people who know it, who work with these things all the time, get some quick answers, and be able to fix the issues. So that's what else happens out here at the Iron and Oak Sawmills. We're actually in my shop right now. I have to stop woodworking to do mechanics work. This, and I'm sure you've probably seen it in some of the other videos outside here, I have a log splitter that has a blown engine on it. I can get an engine for about $250, $300, put it on there and have a functioning log splitter. And I can pass that on to someone else because I have one of my own already. So it was given to me. I'm like, I can get it running. Found out the motor was blown, put a motor on it, and go ahead and, like I said, pass that on to someone else. So, but that'll be, I think after this, that'll be the next thing coming in. That'd be a heck of a lot easier. Bolt the engine up, bolt the hydraulic pump to it, start it, done. So, all right, folks, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks for indulging me in the tour of the shop. Thanks, everybody, for the comments, for the subscriptions, and hey, like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification button next to subscribe. You'll know when I put out a new video. And we'll see you out here next time. Thanks.